Health Diary, brought to you by Brookside Dairy Plus. Live Life Plus with Brookside.
Hi there. Did you know that globally over half of the children who are 5 years and under are micronutrient deficient? Well, what exactly does that mean? That is the subject of the conversation today on Health Diary, and we're coming to you from Brave Care Consultancy right here in Nairobi. We'll be looking at what exactly is micronutrient deficiency, who is at risk of the same, and are there ways that we can reverse micronutrient deficiencies? There's so much to discuss on the other side, and that is after this fact of the matter.
Micronutrient intake is vital for maintaining health and preventing diseases throughout life. They enable the body to produce enzymes, hormones, and other substances that are essential for proper growth and development. Common deficiencies include vitamin A, folate, iodine, iron, and zinc. Strategies like fortification and biofortification help combat deficiencies.
All right, let's understand micronutrient deficiencies and what it looks like, how common it is, especially here in the country. And George Amola is here, our resident nutritionist by now, and also President, Kenya Nutrition and Dietetics Students Association, joining us for this very important conversation. George, as always, thank you for always making the time. So before we even talk about the deficiencies, right, can we just understand micronutrients? What exactly are they and how important are they to our health?
Okay. Micronutrients are basically essential nutrients that are needed in the body, but in small amounts. That's from the word micro. Yeah, and of course there's macro, so which are also the essential nutrients, but those which are needed in large quantities. So when you talk about micronutrients, we give examples of, for example, vitamin A, we talk about zinc, folate, iron, iodine. Those are the macronutrients. Macro now are the ones needed in large amounts. You have the calories, the proteins, the fats. Yeah.
Okay. So then looking at the country in general, because there's a lot of conversation about where we are, how we're doing as far as health is concerned, our health-seeking behavior. So do we see a lot of deficiencies? And when we say someone is micronutrient deficient, right, what exactly do they look like? And then let's look at some of the common deficiencies we have.
Yeah, actually, as a country, we are suffering from a number of micronutrient deficiencies. Okay. And some of the most common micronutrients, we have iron, we have folate, we have vitamin A, we have zinc, and we have iodine. Okay. So they form basis of the most common micronutrient deficiencies that we suffer as a nation. Now, in terms of the relevance, for example, if we talk about deficiencies in iron, of course, will lead to anemia. And if you talk about deficiency in vitamin A, of course, that will lead to night blindness and affect our vision in general, but also reproduction and DNA synthesis. When you talk about deficiencies in zinc, zinc is important for immune function. So again, if you're deficient in zinc, you may find we may not be able to fight well when we are sick. Or under infection. So iodine also is very important for thyroid hormones, but also for brain development. So all these nutrients are very key, and it's easy to be deficient of them because again we talk about how we cook sometimes. How enough we eat the food we eat, how frequent we eat them, and of course how healthy we eat. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So before we talk about then the risk or who is more at risk of suffering from this micronutrient deficiencies, what are some of the sources, say, of the nutrients that you've mentioned?
For example, if you pick iron, for instance, we have animal sources and plant sources of iron. The animal sources of iron are actually very rich and they're easily, absorbed in the system as compared to the plant sources. So examples of animal sources of iron, we have, red meat, we have organ meat like liver, we have, vegetables of the different kinds. We have legumes like beans, soya beans and such. We have fruits and vegetables. We have eggs, which is another good source. Okay. So those are animal sources of iron. When it comes to plant sources of iron, we have dark leafy vegetables. Yeah, we have a variety of them that we can name there. We, of course, we have legumes, we have fruits, yeah, and nuts as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you see, when you mentioned some of this, the reason I'm asking is because we say as a country we have plenty, you know, of these sources of the micronutrients that we need. But at the same time, we still see a lot of people, you know, suffering from micronutrient deficiencies. So the bigger question would be why? Why do we still see a lot of people suffering from micronutrient deficiencies?
Most of them is due to the cooking methods.
Okay.
Our cooking methods sometimes are not good. So you find if we you know involve into extreme cooking methods, we tend to lose some of those nutrients in the process. Sometimes even how we prepare food, if we overwash foods, for instance, for example, the dark leafy vegetables.
Yeah.
Sometimes the way we wash them before we cook them, we also tend to lose some of the nutrients in the process. So it's easy to lose those nutrients actually. Yeah, and that's why fortification is
also comes in.
It comes in.
Yeah. We look at then some of this fortification. Do we see them in milk? Do we see them in, because we also see like maize flour now, you know, having like fortified, you know, nutrients and whatnot. But wait, can we stick a little bit with the washing?
Yes.
Wait, how? Like how are we supposed to wash versus what we're doing wrong that we end up losing some of these nutrients before even cooking them?
Yeah. You see, sometimes, for example, if I pick the dark leafy vegetables, for instance, first, before you cut them, you have to wash them. From the farm, you have to really wash them to take off the dirt and everything.
Yeah.
Then, if you go to Mamboga, after washing them, then they cut it. Yeah. Then, when they give it to us, when we go to buy them in the market, in our houses, we go and rewash again.
Yes.
You know, so in the process, you don't trust that. So you rewash it again.
They will properly washed, yeah.
Yeah, so you see the number of washes, at the end of the day, you tend to lose some of those micronutrients and trace elements in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's even better, some of these things, to prepare them at home. You just buy it, you know, from the market, like then go wash it and cut it by yourself and prepare it by yourself.
Okay.
To minimize some of those losses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Convenience, yeah. Convenience. We're looking at convenience,
I know,
right? That end up putting a risk in the things that we need to support us as far as our health is concerned.
Yeah.
So you're saying is wash before you cut, so that you don't end up washing again after you're cutting, because you end up losing a lot of nutrients.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anything else that we do at home that we end up depriving ourselves of some of these micronutrients?
Yeah. If you look for cases, for example, like I said, the animal sources of iron are the best sources of iron, but then you have plant sources, but the absorption level is too low, about 2 to 10%. But then, if you want to enhance the absorption of iron enhance absorption of plant sources of iron, you take it together with vitamin C-rich sources of foods.
Okay.
For example, tomatoes. Of course, that's why we cook with tomatoes. Yes. Pepper. Yeah. So when you combine. When you're having dark green vegetables, you eat together with pepper, you know, too much tomatoes, you're actually enhancing the iron from the plant sources and enriching it. Yeah, so that's why sometimes you see some of this dietary, you know, recommendation that you do. In fact, the Asians, for example, they eat a lot of peppers.
Yes.
That is some of the reasons behind it, because you want to improve, you know, the absorption of these
nutrients.
Yeah,
okay. So and just sticking with that before we come to how we prepare our foods, because we see in some cultures, say for example where I come from, we usually do milk. So we put milk in our vegetables. We put milk in our porridge. We put milk in, you know, so we tend to do this a lot. Is that a danger in itself? Are there foods that maybe we shouldn't mix because then that happens the absorption? Yeah,
there's a danger because there's counter-reactions.
Okay.
Where you find they tend to counter-react. For example, you find dark leaf vegetables are rich in iron, right? Milk is rich in calcium, so they tend to interact. So it reduces the iron levels in that food.
Okay.
So when you mix them, you do them for flavor and feel good, but nutritionally you don't gain much. You actually lose one at the expense of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And also we see this in children where, so some communities would tend to sieve out, say, the child's porridge and then put milk in the porridge.
Yeah.
Is also that...
That again also, nutritionally that combination also is not good.
Okay.
But again, what we say, because milk is important, the child has to take milk, what you can do, have a space. For example, let the child take milk, then an hour later or 30 minutes later, they can now consume the other food product rather than combining them together.
Yeah.
So you can take milk maybe an hour later, they can now consume other sources. Or for example, if you're having lunch or dinner, instead of mixing milk and the vegetables in the cooking process, you can eat your vegetables, then an hour later, after your dinner, you will take your glass of milk.
Look, I am sad because it's very tasty. It tastes very good.
Yeah, I know.
But you're not getting anything.
You're not getting anything. But again, if you look at sometimes also with the advent of fortification and supplementation, sometimes you find what you lose through that process, you actually tend to gain back through when you consume fortified foods, for instance. So you find the much you're losing may be negligible at sometimes. If you really know your food so well, how to mix it, so you consume that, but then make sure that you have something else beside that is fortified to whatever you'll be losing in the process. So then you'll be good.
Just be aware of what you're losing versus what you're gaining and try and balance that.
Try to balance it.
Hey, a lot of math. The math
has
to math.
It's a lot of math. It's a lot of science behind it.
Yes.
But once you understand the interaction between nutrients and nutrients, of course, the interaction between nutrients and medication, and know how to play around it, then you can easily, understand how to eat well. Without any much worries.
What are some of the other, say, like nutrients that, gosh, what's the term that we've used, that they don't like each other, for example? Because we talked about iron. So any other?
Iron, calcium.
Yes.
It's the most common one. It's the most common one.
Okay. Speaking of iodine as well, you mentioned that is also one of the other micronutrients that we require. Are there ways that probably we lose it in the process? Either the way we handle food, the way we prepare food, or the way we combine our foods? Okay.
Iodine being one of the important micronutrients for brain development, growth. Sometimes some of these nutrients, you may lose them in ways you may not understand. Because see, the body only needs a small amount of it. The body, that's what it's called micro. We don't need much of it. You need a small quantity. And sometimes that small quantity also to get it is kind of tricky. Because again, the foods we eat may not be rich of that certain nutrient. I mean, iodine is important, but then maybe the foods I'm eating may not be rich of that iodine. Which of course, that information may not be available to the public. But the best thing is that these days a lot of foods are fortified. And iodine, in fact, salt is so you find some of these, when we do supplementation and practice fortification of foods or use fortified foods, then you tend to deal with some of these deficiencies.
And just to remind you that the show has been sponsored by Brookside Plus, Live Life Plus, and I have my glass of milk here because George has told us milk is very important. It has what, 13
30 nutrients. Essential nutrients.
Essential nutrients, not micronutrients. Essential nutrients, that help us in one way or the other. But you also talked about fortification. Can we also talk about how we're seeing more and more milk products being fortified with other, nutrients and how important they are in our bodies as I sip my glass of milk?
Thank you. Fortification has been a policy which has been adapted in Kenya through the push by Nutrition International. So most of the foods are fortified with most of these micronutrients, like vitamin A, we have zinc, iron, folate, because it's easy to lose them and it's not easy also to gain them. So most foods have been fortified. We have flour, which are fortified. We have, of course, salts are fortified. We also have cooking oils, which have been fortified. A while back, we had sugar that had been fortified with vitamin A. And now we have also milks, which have been fortified. Because again, if you look at milk, we say that milk has all the 13 essential nutrients, which includes both the macro and micronutrients. So talk about the macro, we have the carbohydrate, it has the fats, it has the protein. The micro here, it has the calcium, zinc, iodine, phosphorus, manganese, so vitamin A, so all of them are available. But if you look at the process, because they undergo processing, and through that processing, they may lose some of those nutrients in the process. So that's why fortification may be important. So for example, in this case, we have, this fortified with vitamin A and D. Already vitamin A and D is naturally available in milk. But because this is, the processing, they might lose some quantities.
Okay.
So when you fortify it, they make it much stronger.
Yeah. So then how do I know? Let's say I am deficient of iron, iodine, or any other micronutrient that is there. Are there signs that probably to look out for?
Yeah. One of these one is, muscle weakness and fatigue. Okay. When you're fatigued, it means definitely there's something you're lacking. Another one is, the strength of your nails. I don't know how strong are your nails. If you have nails which are weaker, and it means there's something you're lacking.
Okay.
And then there are some of us where, like myself, we see this kind of thing that shows up, this skin that's
that's usually very painful.
Yeah, that's clearly is a deficiency of some type of micronutrient.
Really?
Most times biotin, you lack in biotin. Those are signs of, sometimes you find, mental fatigue. You get exhausted mentally very fast. Yeah. It's also a sign of fatigue. Sometimes even the skin, how healthy is your skin? You find people so dry skin. When your skin is so dry, it also translates to that you are lacking some micronutrient. Yeah, so our body speaks to ourselves. So when you're lacking a micronutrient or macro, your body will tell you there's a problem. Your body speaks, your body appearance. If you have a healthy skin, it will show. If your skin is so moisturized, it shows you are healthy. But we have some whose skins, it's dry, you can see, scaly type, see there's a problem. Yeah. There's times who have nails which are very weak. You can't even scratch something. There's some probably who have rashes over the skin. So those are signs of micronutrient deficiencies. So the signs are there. The only thing is that we need to now relate the sign to whichever nutrient deficient, and then see how to handle the case.
Balance that. You know what? It's interesting that you're mentioning that, because these are things that we sometimes overlook. We just think, oh yeah, maybe I'm just tired, or maybe the weather is causing my skin to act up, or yeah, maybe I didn't have enough protein, or like we tend to overlook some of those things, but that is the body telling you there's something that is missing, or something is not balanced.
Absolutely.
So then how do we so what is the detriment then to that if we don't listen to our body and give it the nutrients that it needs? How bad can it get?
First, it's bad. You may suffer from undernutrition. Of course, you may suffer from, like now we are talking about micronutrient deficiencies. You may suffer undernutrition. In some bad cases, you may also suffer malnutrition. But you see some of the common practices that we do even in our homes. Some of us say we cannot use tomatoes while cooking. And we've said very well, tomato is rich in vitamin C. And most of the time we cook our vegetables are rich in iron. But the iron in vegetables is not readily absorbable. So it needs, you have to combine it with the vitamin C rich food to avail it to your body. And tomatoes, like we said, pepper, all these things. So it's good to use them together. So I may know that some people may not be able, who may not like taking ripe tomatoes, but you
can blend it.
You can blend it,
right?
Blend it so extremely that you may not actually feel it, but it will help in the process.
So some of us, who don't use tomatoes in our vegetables, right? So there's that aspect of acidity. It's like nasikia acidity hivi kidogo nikiweka nyanya kwa nini. So what then do we do?
Well, now, I know there are people who may have acidity issues. There are those cases. But again, it depends on how you prepare the tomato. Like you're saying, if you blend it well, it may the issue may not be as bad. If you blend it so well. And in fact, it's even worse those who are taking raw. Raw, you feel it, but when you cook it, it's not as bad.
It's not as bad.
Especially when you if you're able to blend it so well.
I see that. And then also, can you talk about how our lifestyle has impacted our diet, which in turn impacts the nutrient levels that we intake?
If you look at our country, we are more aligned to westernized kind of diets, where we want to engage more in processed foods. And most of these processed foods are micronutrient deficient. They're not rich in some of these nutrients. More of them are more calorie dense. They are more saturated, they are more fat saturated. High in calories, low in proteins, low in fiber, low in minerals and vitamins. So you end up suffering communicable diseases, the diabetes, the cancer, hypertension. So that is the risk. So that's why we are saying it's good to consume healthy diet. And when you talk about healthy diets, what actually we mean? We mean your diet or your meal has to have a source of lean protein. It has to have fiber. It has to have vegetable and fruits, healthy fats. You have, of course, have to hydrate. You have to drink water. Yeah.
Okay. And at the same time, the say micronutrients like zinc, right? How important is it in our bodies? Where do we get it from? And how much of it, say, is too much, or how little of it is too little?
Yeah. Zinc is important for immune function.
Okay.
Even apart from immunity, even for neurological development. Where do we get zinc? Of course, we also get it from dark leafy vegetables, the legumes. Some fruits are rich in it, and some nuts. So that's where we get them. Nearly all of these food sources have traces of these minerals and vitamins. Yeah.
Okay. So you might lack on one, but you might,
yeah.
Is there such thing as too much of it?
Yes.
Too much of zinc?
Yeah.
Or any other micronutrient?
Yeah, there's too much of anything, macro or micro.
Yeah.
And I can give a classic examples of vitamin A. Liver is very rich in vitamin A. Yeah. But again, when you overconsume it, it becomes a risk to your body, and especially for expectant mothers. Expectant mothers, they are prone to vitamin A deficiencies.
Yeah.
And so they may need a lot of vitamin A. And of course, one of the dietary good sources is liver. But when you overconsume, it also becomes detrimental to your body. So you have to take them also in moderation.
Yeah. All right. Any other thing that if we do too much might be
even
disastrous?
we have vitamin A, most of the macronutrients, and that's why they're called micro, because we only need them in small amounts. Again, when they are too much, it becomes detrimental, or it may not actually offer you the benefit. The body only does need a small amount. And that's why it's easy to be deficient of them.
Because you only need a little, but then if you miss out, your body will tell you, hey, there's something that you're missing out. Okay, you're very, very vocal on nutritional assessments and having, say, understanding your nutrition and your diet, which is very individualized, right? Can we talk about how important that is? How often should people see nutritionists just to understand where they are at and what they need more?
Yeah, it said we are what we eat. What you eat determines who you are, how healthy you can be. And see, nutritionists, our medication is food. Food is what we prescribe to our clients to get better. Same as what doctors do, they prescribe medication. So what we prescribe is food. And because we do prescription of food, we do what is called personalized nutritional assessment. Because what I may recommend for you may be different from the other person. Because our bodies are different. We have different weights, we have different ages, we have different genetic makeups, we have different tolerance levels to different kinds of foods. And again, we have to recognize we come from different cultures. So certain foods in my culture may not be allowed in other cultures. So that's why you need a personalized nutrition assessment. Based on that, then you can do personalized also nutritional recommendation. So food is important. Food, it defines who we are. Food can make you become more attentive in class. Food can make you become the smartest in class for your cognition and intelligence. Food can also make you the most sluggish in the society. So food is our lifestyle.
Just strike a balance and do it right, do it correct. Okay, so then as we bring this to a close, what would be your message then to the people who are watching us and probably don't even know that micronutrient deficiency is a thing, and probably if they experience some of the the telltale signs that you talked about, then how do they reverse the situation?
I think one of the important things I would like to mention is I would like our countrymen and women to recognize the roles of nutritionists. Because I think for a long time, their relevance in healthcare has not been appreciated as much. And you find, if you look at communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, most of them, as much as the patient will be taking medication, the food aspect also plays a very important role. And that's where nutritionists come in. So we are very important in lifestyle education, lifestyle education, and also education on wellness to the patient. because that's what also will help our population to grow much healthier and reduce mortality rates, you know, and become a working nation.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Thank you so much, George. George Omolo is a nutritionist and as well as the president, Kenya Nutritionists and Dietetics Students Association, giving us all the insights that we need to have. Well, time now for you to take a look at this health tip as George and I enjoy our glasses of milk. Okay.
So on today's health tip, we focus on myths and conceptions about breastfeeding. So most mothers might believe that colostrum is dirty and should not be given to infant. That is not true. Colostrum is a very good meal for the baby. It contains all the nutrients that is required for the baby. So we should all encourage our mothers to take colostrum.
Well, based on today's conversation, I know many of us are culprits of doing things the wrong way. Say, for example, mixing our vegetables with our milk or our porridge with our milk. But the good thing is we learn, and we've learned so much from today's conversation. The thing is, let's put that into action and know better, and especially when it comes to nutrient and nutrient reactions and interactions, and do them separately. But if you have any other question, our social media handles are at the bottom of your screen, and that is at NTV Kenya across all board. But for now, allow us to say goodbye. My name is Winnie Lubembe. A special thanks to Brave Care Consultancy for hosting us today, and also a special thanks to Brookside Plus, Live Life Plus for sponsoring today's episode. Until next week, adios.
Diary was brought to you by Brookside Dairy Plus. Live Life Plus with Brookside.
Brookside Plus probiotic yogurt provides you the goodness of good bacteria for a healthy gut and a good immune system.